Grosescu, and I'm the head of the documentation office within the Institute for the Investigation of Communist Crimes in Romania.
And you're here at this three-day conference. What is your impression, looking at the experiences of other countries in the region, about where your own country and your own institute stands in terms of coming to terms with the communist past?
Okay, so I believe that first of all it is necessary to stress that most of Central European countries are confronting with the main problems with regard to the condemnation of crimes of communism, the status of limitation, and the fact that these crimes are not considered to be crimes against humanity.
That's always a legal problem, isn't it? That if the statute of limitation is already ended, passed, then it's always a problem how to bring these crimes to justice, or the people who committed these crimes to justice at all. That in Romania, you said in your talk just a minute ago, has been a major problem.
Yes, this was a major problem because in fact Romania, post-communist Romania, does not recognize international conventions signed by Romania before 1999 regarding the fact that crimes against humanity and crimes on political grounds are not under the status of limitation. So in fact in this moment in Romania it is impossible to judge any crime committed during the communist regime besides the crimes committed during the December 1989 revolution. So in what concerns the thousands of executions from the Stalinist period, or the torture applied to political dissidents in Ceausescu period, there is no possibility to judge these crimes anymore.
And you mentioned in your talk now that there are four basic reasons for this, as you perceive it.
Okay, first of all is the lack of the political interest of the Romanian political elites in order to come to terms with the past.
And that's because of their own communist past?
Yes, because in fact most of the post-communist political parties were created by former nomenclatura members, and because they were still on power, and they are still on power. The second reason is the fact that the prosecutors in charge with these files come from the old system, and in fact they are supposed to judge their colleagues or the system who formed them. It's a weak one, and this is always a main problem. And the fourth is the ignorance of the international law.
And why is Romania so different in that respect from the Czech Republic, where for all the problems that we have here in the Czech Republic, there has been a great deal of debate and discussion, sometimes quite passionate, about how to deal with the communist past?
I would say that if we look at the results, we won't see a very much difference between the Czech Republic and Romania. Okay, we will see a great difference in one concern, the illustration and the opening of the archives.
The illustration being the screening laws which prevented former communists taking high post after the fall of communism.
Yes. Okay, so in this field we see an important difference, and I believe that this important difference is due, first of all, to the important mobilization of the Czech civil society. And in Romania we don't have this. And in the same time, in Czechoslovakia, the first free elections weren't won by the communists. And although the Communist Party, still has a power in Czech Republic, I believe that the transformation of the elites and the conversion of the elites was less important than in Romania.
But an office for the investigation and documentation of communist crimes has been founded in Romania. You are part of it. Is it just not working?
The Institute for the Investigation of Communist Crimes was created at the end of 2005. What we did was, in fact, to lodge penal complaints against over 300 communist leaders who committed political crimes. But because of the legal problems for prosecuting these people, in fact, no indictment was formulated. But what we had as a very important mission was to dig for common graves and to to write the history of those groups which were never exhumated before the creation of our institute.
So this is quite literally digging in graves and finding out who it was who was murdered and when and how.
And by who.
And you've had success in that?
Yes, in fact we found several common graves and we digged like, I don't know, we found over 100 bodies in different common graves. Okay, so we had a lot of success, and I believe that this was very important for the families, because the families of these victims didn't know where their relatives were buried and what happened to them. And in this moment, it is outrageous that the Romanian government eliminated from the functioning of the institute this very important mission to investigate communist crimes, to dig, for common graves and to lodge penal complaint. What they are doing is to transform this institute in a research center and to eliminate this investigation mission.
So basically to draw, in legal terms, a thick line under history, as we say in this country, to say the past is the past, it's something that we can look into, but it's got nothing to do with the present day, and there's no way of bringing those who committed the crimes to justice.
Well, I believe that the past is also the present. I mean, the present is also the past, so we don't have to forget. And in one concern, the conviction of the persons who perpetrated political crimes, I believe that we have to fight in order to find legal solutions, to consider communist crimes as crimes against humanity, and to judge these crimes in order to give a message to the further generation that this thing doesn't have to
happen again.
And
one last question. What does a conference like this, with people coming from all over Central and Eastern Europe, and a few people as well from Western Europe, all coming together talking about the legacy of communism, what has it brought to you? This conference, what have you learned from this conference, or what inspiration have you found from this conference?
What I believe that it's important to say is that it was due to such a conference that the last resolution of the European Parliament regarding the crimes of communism, which was adopted in March 2009, this resolution was adopted due to such a conference. And I believe that the fact that people are coming from all over Europe, and that we are trying to make a common platform and to give a common message. I believe this is very important, because this is how we will at least try to solve the problem at a European level.
But the experiences are so diverse, aren't they, in the different countries, that it must be quite hard to find a common message. Have you found the core of a common message?
Well, at least there is a common platform for the memory of the communist regimes, and there is an international project that we are we are implementing now. And I believe that the second main object is to consider crimes against humanity, communist crimes as crimes against humanity, and that all penal codes recognize this in every country. And I believe that this is an experience and a wish that all countries, all the representatives of such institute want.
Thank you very much.